Hello, hello, hello. Hello, beloved. Let me try to share this to the group. Say hello to me when you join. Welcome to Transmission Thursdays. We are here. It's a Thursday. Hello, beloved. Hello, babe. Thank you for joining me. Let me know that you are here. Hashtag Warrior of Light. It's our hashtag. If you are watching this live with me, hashtag Warrior of Light. If you are watching the replay, hashtag replay. Still also hashtag the Warrior of Light. So just going to wait a little bit, a minute or two for others to join. So just setting the sacred space. I get activated when I do this with, with the incense on, with the candle on, so that I can properly actually transmit, Okay, so to share now. That is the purpose. How have you been, beloved, since our last transmission? Since last week? And for those who are in the group, we were actually chilling this Tuesday, so feels like we were just together. Okay, I don't know how to share from the iPad, so I'm giving up. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Transmission Thursdays. I do this every Thursdays at 5 p.m. I try to stick to 5 p.m. but I'm always somehow, I don't know how, I'm always kind of like 5 minutes late, but I try to come at 5. This is our second Transmission Thursdays, and I'll be doing this every week until further notice, right? So for today, the transmission is on soul and ancestral miasma, as well as soul and ancestral medicine, right? I'm really excited to talk about this because these are two things that I work with in my work, and I always feel like, oh my God, everyone should understand this, because if we understood this, we will really understand what's happening in our lives, and we will be able to navigate the challenges that we go through as people, but particularly as Black people, African people, people of color. And the reason why it's so important for us to really understand this soul ancestral miasma is because of our history. And if you've been following me for a while, you know how much I love histories and origins and like understanding the core of whatever is happening, right? So if you are an indigenous person, as in your culture is outside, like your people have been here since the beginning of time as we know it, it's very important for you to then understand what miasma is, what ancestral miasma is, what soul miasma is as well. So we're gonna jump into that. Let me know who has interacted with miasma before. Right. How much do you understand of miasma? and who's excited to understand a little bit of the miasma energy, as well as how this is connected to your soul gifts and your soul medicine, as well as your ancestral gifts and ancestral medicine. Right? They are all interconnected. The teachings that I do are based on what I really understand as embodied healing and embodied awakening and embodied ascension. I believe that we can't really holistically heal if we don't look at the pain of those who have come before us. If we don't look at that, we won't understand what's happening to us, because for most of us, that thing that you think is just you, I can guarantee that there is a high chance that when we look into your genealogy, if we looked into your bloodline, we will literally find someone in your bloodline who has went through the exact same thing you're going through. And that's what miasma is really about. Okay, yes, I did talk about ancestral miasma last year, so I just want to expand for those who didn't see that, and for the new people in the community. I talk a lot about ancestral miasma because it's a lot of the work I do. And even if I tried to just be a psychologist, because that's my background, I can't ignore it no matter what. Even like, I mean, when I was a psychology student, I was not taught this, but I just kept feeling like there is something missing with the education I was receiving, you know, and particularly because we have something called intake interviews, where in the beginning someone comes into the psychology clinic, and then essentially you sit and you ask them questions, and the whole purpose of the intake interview is to get an understanding of their history, right? So you ask them questions about their mother, their father, their grandmothers and grandfathers, and so forth. The whole purpose is for you to build an understanding of the issue that someone is presenting with, you know. So someone will come and say they're struggling with getting over a boy, for example. Typically in intake interviews, we wouldn't even really try to go deep into understanding the relationship itself, but try to see who are you, right? First of all, because the reason why you're struggling to move on has nothing to do with the relationship itself, but more of your background, your childhood background, right? And there are different theories that we learned, and one of those theories, it's the famous one, the Sigmund Freud one, you know, which really says that your childhood experiences impact who you are, right? Then Sigmund Freud had a student who is called Carl Jung or Carl Jung, different ways to pronounce his name. Carl Jung or Jung or Jungen, that this guy, he is currently famous. If you go on social media, on Instagram, everyone is talking about shadow work, right? And shadow work is essentially looking into your shadow self, your hidden self, your sinful self. And this is actually a theory that was created hundreds of years, well, not hundreds of years, 100 years ago by Carl Jung, where he says that there is a shadow that you have within you that is actually driving your conscious life. And this shadow is the unconscious, and it's the one that is creating, first of all, the relationships you are in, the work that you are currently going through, and, right? But one thing that I loved about Carl Jung that most people did not actually agree with was that he spoke about something called the collective consciousness. And the collective consciousness, according to Carl Jung, it's think of it like a library that exists somewhere in the spirit realms or spirit dimensions. And this library is filled up with every soul that has ever existed, every experience of every soul that has ever existed, and even, in fact, some of it is also the souls that are yet to come. But let's focus on those who have ever existed. According to Carl Jung, he says that this collective consciousness you tap into it, you as a soul, when you enter this planet, when you are born. And it is through the collective consciousness that, for example, you learn about language. No one has to teach you as a baby. You have to learn language. You just know you have to do it, right? And you learn it, and then you exist. And we learn in that way. That's like how osmosis, like we learn through osmosis like that. A lot of people in the psychological community do not believe in this theory. And this is why a lot of people don't believe in ancestors, because ancestors is essentially the collective consciousness. This is why I wrote a blog post on the matrices of ancestors, because a lot of people, when we think of ancestors, we literally just focus on their physical form. And when you say, I'm calling my grandmother, you think of your physical form grandmother, but really we're speaking about consciousness here. And it's important to know this, that when you are in the ancestral healing path, we are talking about healing and repairing your consciousness through understanding the consciousness that came before you and how that consciousness has influenced your consciousness as of now, right? So if there is a library where we tap into to learn everything that we currently experience, and we do this without even thinking, does this only just apply to positive things like learning how to walk, or does it also apply to anger outbursts? Why is it that sometimes you find that the same family has the same kind of illnesses, the same kind of like issues? What's happening there? What's happening there is called miasma, right? And miasma is essentially dead energy that is in the collective consciousness. And this dead energy, it's like this. To explain it, maybe I should give an example. You know, when someone has an accident, like a car hits someone, that impact is so profound, but it's so profound, not even so much to the physical body, but what is called the energetic body, which is made up of the etheric body and the astral body. These are the parts that actually keep you alive. So the etheric body is what is your life force. And when a car hits you and it really impacts the etheric body and that life force diminish, that is what will lead to the person transitioning, right? And this is why someone, when you look at that physical body that they were in an accident, it doesn't look that there were much damage, but they transition, because the damage that determines whether you stay alive or not is within the etheric body itself, which is the invisible body, which most of us, we don't see, right? So if the car hits the person, the etheric body is impacted, and that etheric body is holding your life force. Your life force reduces, and it will be like there is a scar in the etheric body, right? Like a wound. And that wound, while the etheric body is literally living light energy, if there is an impact or a trauma to it, that energy will become like a dead energy, right? And you can carry this dead energy for a really long time. But for most people, if you are carrying dead energy, meaning if you have ever went through a traumatic event that impacted your etheric body, that traumatic event doesn't just have to be physical. Going through an emotionally painful thing affects your etheric body, right? That trauma can diminish your life force. And after that, you feel like you're not yourself anymore. Some part of you is lost somewhere, right? So this is where the soul is also affected. The etheric body comes after the physical body. And then beyond that, there is the astral body, which is now where emotions are held. And if your emotional The astral body is literally where we go every time we go to sleep, right? It's where your memories are. But it's not just your memories, it's your memories of your ancestors and your whole soul, right? And then beyond this is your soul energy, your higher self. And the higher self sends information through the astral, etheric to the physical. And the reason why sometimes we are not able to heal, it's because there has been damage either in the astral or in the etheric body, and so medicine is not able to move through these bodies, and it gets stuck somewhere, and then your physical body continues to have an illness, and no matter what you do, it doesn't get cleared up. And that's because of that dead energy, which is miasma, that is in the etheric body and the astral body. Does this make sense? Are we together? Guys, I am my friend Coco Taz says I teach spiritual PhD. So I am like a teacher like that. So I just went into that just because I feel like I want you guys to understand this and how important this is, right? Let me know if you understand what I'm talking about. So the etheric and astral are damaged from trauma. And here's the thing. If you give birth to a child with a damaged etheric body, and the child is going to inherit the DNA from the fractured aspect of you, right? At the moment of their birth. And so the DNA that is being continued from one generation to the other will be based on what is being sent out. If we are sending out the emotions that, imagine the person who got hit by a car and they survived, but the etheric body is really damaged. And then in that moment of impact, the emotion of fear was activated, right? In the astral. And the memory that is stored by this person is so filled up with fear that this person moving forward, they will be afraid of cars or even driving, right? So that fear will become like a program in the conscious mind and in the DNA. And then it will be that fear, the fear of cars, is what will be sent through the DNA when a new baby is being born. And then the new baby will just find themselves scared of cars. And then the next new baby, the same thing. And then we can continue from one generation to the other. This is just an example of one event of a car, right? So now, to even show you how profound this is, think of our history as Black people, right? If you are a Black person in the diaspora, in America, in all over the world, and your ancestors are connected to the traumatic event that is called slavery, imagine what got stored in our ancestors' etheric bodies and astral, and what was then inherited from one generation to the other. For you, if you're in Africa, think of colonization. Also think of tribal wars that happened in the land, right? If you're South African, what happened to you, your family, your community 20 years ago, not even that far off? How did that impact the etheric body and the astral body? Because these are the intermediary bodies between the soul, the spiritual one, and the physical one. And the spiritual one, the reason why we talk about you heal yourself, it's because literally healing has to come from the spirit and travel through the bodies and then heal the physical body. But the reason why we find ourselves as African people going through a lot of illnesses, is it not because of our miasma? Is it not because our etheric body are so traumatized? And what is stored in the astral, the memories stored in the astral, are so deep that we keep struggling to heal physically. And healing physically, I'm not just talking about diseases, because when we think of healing, we think of a disease. I'm talking about, we need to understand the very fact that right now people are not with their beloveds is an illness. The fact that we grew up in families where our fathers were not there, it's an illness. And that illness has nothing to do with our men, but everything to do with what has happened in consciousness, in the history, in the etheric, and in the astral, right? And this is why no matter what you keep saying, nothing changes, because it's not about the physical. The physical body just receives information, by the way. It just does what it's being told. It receives information from the astral. It's supposed to receive from the spirit, astral, and etheric. But for most people, the spirit is so far off we can't hear it because of the trauma in the middle. And this is why a lot of people are like, Joy, I don't know what my higher self is. I don't know how it sounds like. I don't know what the voice of the ancestors are. Remember, the ancestors come through the spiritual body, right? And this is why we do ancestral healing. Ancestral healing is first to heal your etheric body and your astral body, so you can literally reconnect with your inner spirit and the collective consciousness of your people who were medicine men, who were the healers, who know how to literally regenerate the DNA. Because you don't, first of all, you don't even know what you have stored in your etheric and astral body, right? Because like I said, you didn't just store what happened to you personally. You also carried through the DNA, your mother, father, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, they moved through you. That traumas moved and became you. Yeah, okay. Let me mic drop and check in, right? So the rise of African ancestral healing, like I said, has never been about religion. It's even the desire to connect with your ancestors. If you are here, I want you to understand the desire is not just so you can come and partner and pray to them. Our ancestors have been waiting for years to heal the DNA of the black race because of what has happened. There is so much work to be done. And what's required is for you to commit to heal your etheric and astral body. And just on a personal level with your own issues you've went through. And then look into what the ancestors have went through. But what I can tell you is this. Your personal issues, they are not personal actually. They are very much ancestral. I have never really found a new case where someone says, I'm the first one in my family to have this issue. Has never happened. Whatever it is you've went through, there is an ancestor who went through that. And that's which means that your body is constantly being told to create the miasmatic experiences, the trauma experiences, right? If the ancestor, after they went through a trauma, they had a fear related to, say, relationships, for example, you are going to find yourself not interested in relationship, having fears with relationships. And it will not be because something has happened to you. Like literally, you could even trace back and you'll be like, even when I was 13, all the girls were crazy about boys and I wasn't, right? Because it's ancestral. The thing is, we are so interconnected in such beautiful, deep ways. I mean, I say this not to like make you feel like, oh my God, it's a lot. I say this because, yeah, it is a lot. But one, I just want you to drop this idea that your life as it is the way it is because of you. That is not true. As much as we would like to, we are not actually in that much of control of what our lives turn out to be, in the sense of most of us are literally just replicating. We are literally in loops, trauma loops, because of not being aware, right? And so the whole purpose of a spiritual awakening is not so much to go learn about incense and candles. It's for you to truly see the bigness of your life. It's very vast. It's very interconnected with the ancestors. But also the beauty of it is in the spiritual body, the one that comes after the astral. That's where medicine is. Your personal soul medicine is held in your spiritual body. It is held by what we call the oversoul, your oversoul. It's held by what we call the monad, right? The monad, I teach this, and on Sunday I was teaching this to my mystery school students. The monad is literally a group of souls that you belong to. And your monadic collective is made up of 144 souls. Some of these 144 souls are people who are your friends, people who are your intimate partners, people who are your family members. As a monad, you as the 144, you have amazing, profound gifts as one singular monad. And the whole purpose of your awakening, if you did not know, is to connect back to your monad, to your soul family and ancestral family, so you can come and awaken the gift and then heal the astral and etheric. By the way, we don't heal from the physical going up. Like, we don't start with the physical and then etheric and astral. No, we start with the spirit, astral, etheric, and physical. Does that make sense? Which means that the reason why sometimes we are in healing loops, it's because you've been trying to start from the physical, trying to use your mind to heal, you know, like trying, shame. Yeah, we were not told, and I say this, and the reason why I do this sessions freely is because it breaks my heart, because we were not told, you know. And we're just here thinking we're healing, but we're just constantly trapped. And it's not that we don't heal using the mind. We do heal, but the issue is, quite frankly, has nothing to do with the physical and everything to do with what's stored in that which is invisible to your eye, which is within the consciousness. Right? Yeah, okay. I know I just did a PhD class in there. I don't think it was, but yeah. Let me know. What questions do you have now? Yes, warrior. There's also belief that aside from osmosis, this is handed down in our DNA from generation. Yes, this is epigenetics. It's called epigenetics. And yes, like DNA is not just like holding information on like how your eye is supposed to be. It's holding information that is very emotional, psycho-spiritual, very mental in nature as well, right? And that's why you would want to look into your DNA. When you're looking into your DNA, most people, they just want to go find out what is the name of their grandfather and great-grandfather. That's great. I would ask you to also go deeper to find out what happened to your people, right? Through my own journey, you know, for example, I found out that my ancestry originates from Lesotho, and it was a 1 year. Some of my ancestry originates from Lesotho, and it was a 1 year endeavor. And how I found out this, by the way, it was through spirit. No one ever told me. Now my family, they're like, really? Makes sense though. So Lesotho and Congo. And this was through me going deeper to find out, one, why do I have the particular skills that I have? So for those who have had my sessions, or those who understand, I work with the Abalozi spirits. And the Abalozi spirit, first of all, the Lozi nation is a real nation, you know, that originates from the Congo, and they branched out to Zambia, Botswana, South Africa, Southern Africa, and Lesotho, a little bit of Lesotho. And the Lozi Nation are really, really powerful, and they're like mountain spirits, and the healing modality is very ancient. And so when my Abalozi spirit activated, first of all, I was not expecting that to happen. But when I went deeper into exploring this gift, this medicine, the way that I heal, you know, the Abalozi spirits, they heal with the whistle, which is how I heal. When I went through the history of it, that's how I found out that, oh, some of my ancestors were also in Lesotho. Not even from the bloodline I thought, not from my mother. That's where I would have expected this, but my father's bloodline. So sometimes really just doing the research can help you to even understand your gift and the medicine that you carry. If you are a Black person, you have gifts. Of course, actually, if you're a human being, you have gifts. But I just want to say this to everyone. This applies to everyone. If you're listening to me, you have gifts. If you are a soul, God endowed you with the living light and with codes, and these codes are what has animated you, and these codes are what allows you to function a certain way, to have certain interests, right? And the purpose, your purpose in life, it is to remember these codes that you were given, this medicine you were given, so you can come and heal your bloodline, you can come and heal the human race. Everyone who is alive right now, we were lied to. Our purpose is not just to enjoy life. No, our purpose is to essentially evolve consciousness, because consciousness, human consciousness, has been disconnected from God for a really long time now. So most souls who came in, that we have literally that one mission, to reconnect with God. And the reconnecting with God is through, first of all, looking into how did we get disconnected. And this is how we have to look into our miasma, our traumas, our history. But as we look, that's not the end of the story. The end of the story is to resurrect our soul medicine and our ancestral medicine, because this is the exact reason why we are waking up in the first place, because we need to heal humanity, right? There is no single, this is my opinion, but I truly can stand by it. There is nothing in the world more important than your healing. Not manifestation, not any of the desires you feel like are super important. I say this because I've went through the path where before I was so obsessed with my purpose. What is it? And I realized the purpose is one. It's always been one, to heal consciousness. And this purpose can be done in many different ways. And all you need to do is first heal, and then your way will naturally wake up. Like you will just know, because like I said, you remove the miasma in between the bodies, and your spirit will begin to show you, tell you what your gifts are, and you begin to just know how to do things, right? So instead of being in the loop of, I want to discover my purpose, I want to discover what, get into the loop of, I want to heal, because I can literally receive this knowledge of my purpose, not from Joy Muhammad, not from any healer, but from my own higher self, my God self. That is the path. That is the embodied path. There is no one in the world who can tell you your purpose except your higher self, period. And as of this year, I am here to invite all of you to get right with your God self through healing the miasma, so you can resurrect the medicine and connecting with the Godhead, God, essentially. And if you're here and the word God traumatizes you right now, good. You now know what you need to work on. Right? Because it's also a program to disconnect us from our power. Yeah. Okay, so now I am done. I just transmitted all the goodness. Let's go into questions. What questions do you have? Yes. Can you heal spiritually, or can we go with our own intuition? Yeah, I mean, do I believe that you can do this by yourself alone with no teachings whatsoever? not necessarily. I do believe that the healing comes from you. There is no one who truly heals you. It's through your God self and through your awareness and alignment with God that you will heal. However, in the same way that right now you are listening to me, and maybe some of these concepts are new, we will always, it's not always, sometimes you do need a guide, an elder, a mentor to help you just figure out all these things, you know. So personally, the information that I am teaching now, I learned it from other people. I learned it through books I'm reading. I learned it through my healers and my teachers. And then in the last 2 years, majority of also what I teach, and especially how I do my healing work, by the way, I swear to you, how I do my healing work comes from my oversoul. No one taught me to whistle. I just woke up one day and I knew how to heal with the whistle, because that's how it works, right? But you could, like, however, when I starting to whistle in sessions, I went to my sister, Kokota's. I'm like, I'm suddenly whistling in sessions. What's happening? And she was the one who's like, oh, that's called Abalo's spirits. This is what's happening to you. So there is a balance. You do need someone to always reference what's happening to you. And sometimes you do need someone to help you with healing the miasma between in the etheric and the astral bodies, because even I, as Joy Mohami, I know so much about this. I have been gifted enough with the training in psychology and training in spirituality, and I truly think that is very it's so good that I'm able to do this. But even I can heal myself. That's why I've hired other people. I can't see myself. There's always somewhere where you can't see yourself, you know. And sometimes also, more than anything, you need to be held. Sometimes it's through having someone see you that your own medicine will activate. You know, like I said, like for me, sometimes I go into a session with my healer and I come out and I suddenly know how to do something, because sometimes our healers themselves, they can activate you. I am an activator, as in sometimes just listening to me can literally create a spiral for you. If you come for 1 day session with me, it can literally change and open up so much for you. Like sometimes you need that. That's the whole purpose of churches, whole purpose of healers and I did speak about the importance of understanding that there is something called spiritual surgery, where, you know, when there has been a trauma in your family or even in your life, you can't literally do surgery on yourself in the same way that if there's something in your physical body, you need a surgeon to literally fix that. So healers are surgeons, but they're not who can come and remove the thing, but the healing itself will be done by you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yes, thank you. Okay. So this is why for me, I love teaching people how to heal themselves. And this is why I created Healing with the Grandmothers. I used to have it as a 5-7 day course. But what really settled for me last year was understanding that honestly, Africans just need healing. Let's pause with the manifestation and I know sometimes when you hear this, it will be like, Joy, no, I want to create my car and. The thing is, however, if you heal, those things will organically just happen, right? Those things through divine will, they will come to you. The reason why they have not come is because of the miasma in your etheric and astral body. So heal. Do not loop yourself into consistently trying to create and trying to fight and trying to be in control on things that are 1,000 years old. You know, reconnect with your power that is within you. You are incredibly powerful. You have a powerful DNA. You have royal codes. You have royal codes. Do you guys understand? Oh my God. the things you can do, your blood can do as a Black person. I mean, chills all the time. Like, the grandmothers tell me all the time, like, oh my God, Joy. And I've seen it, the things I am able to do now, only because in 2020, I just healed. I stopped trying to create anything and committed to healing. So I have Healing with the Grandmothers as a healing program. It is 3 months of ancestral healing, because we have to go deep into this miasma. These miasma, they are what creates our misery with, with love, with our sexuality, with money, with abundance, our difficulties with accessing our higher self and our spiritual self, our difficulty with trusting the intuition, your inner spirit, trusting your ancestors, knowing if you are truly connecting with the organic timeline, or you are just like now looping yourself in things that are not true, false light, things that look and appear to you like they're light, but they're not, because years later you are still here, you still have the same issues, right? This is what I'm talking about. If you have seen yourself trying to manifest the same thing and years later nothing has really changed, it's because you are in the false timeline, and what you're working with is not organic, and you're trying to patch on something that's huge, and you just need to attend to the huge trauma, and then everything will begin to unravel. If I want you to know something, is do not be afraid of your shadows. Do not be afraid of the traumas. Do not be afraid of the darkness, because that is what keeps you stuck. Because once you know your pain, once you know your shadow, what power does it have in your life? It doesn't have any power. The only reason it's so scary to you is because you're scared of it. The moment you are not scared, it just dissolves, and you can face it. You can face yourself in the mirror, and you can begin to do the deep work that needs to happen. And there is no greater investment, no greater legacy you can leave for your people, for the next generation, than to heal and be brave to face your pain. And so Healing with the Grandmothers is for you if you are just like, I'm done. Like, I want you to come because you have done it all. You've tried the different healing modalities and they have not taken you to where you need. And when you begin Healing with the Grandmothers, I am team history, and I'll teach you all the things. I'll also teach you how to heal. We will heal also in community. It's a group course, because I want us to activate and call in all the ancestors that have been waiting for us to just connect with them. And that's why I love group work, because I've seen one person's journey activating the other person. So this is a group healing. It's very powerful. When you leave, you will have the skills to continue to do this. I have been on a deep personal journey of ancestral healing 3 years, and I'm still doing this healing. But I've seen tremendous shifts in my bloodline. Like, when I heal, my people heal. They don't even know what's happening to them. They're just naturally, organically changing, because your DNA is interconnected in the collective consciousness library. Right? Yeah. Okay. So right now, the aspect of me that gets a little intense, you guys, that's my higher self. that's it's a very masculine energy. So I'm like, yeah. But the cool me, I'm like, hi guys. That's joy of the human code. Okay. So Healing with the Grandmothers, I want to work with 7 to 8 people, to 7 to 10 people in this container. 3 months, we're going deep. And yeah, like I said, I'm looking really for the one who wants to do it not just for themselves but for the human race. I'm at that point where I'm like, yeah, you need to understand how big this is. It's really big. But the cool thing is that when you do it, it's gonna create a ripple effect around the whole collective consciousness. Yeah. So I will be sharing in the next coming weeks about healing with the grandmothers, but you can already apply and fill it in, and once you've applied, we will have like a 20 to 30 minutes call for you to see if it's still in alignment with you. Once again, I really just want a person who feels like they want to do this, and typically the person I work with is the one who might consider themselves as Wanabadimu, as in the genetic path cutter. They feel like they have a calling to work with ancestors. They feel like they have a calling to later heal others, guide others, right? So this is introductory. I truly believe everyone who's a genetic path cutter should go through this process, because we have far too many wounded healers in our community, and this just needs to stop. We need to begin the healing as healers ourselves, because we have so much at stake, and we have power, but power must be used right. So if you are a coach as well, if you are a person who's holding space for human souls, please go check that out, right? And apply, have a conversation with me. If it aligns, it aligns. If I'm going to probably run it again one more time before end of year, towards the end. If you can't do now, you can do another time. That's fine as well. Yes. So I will put the link in. You can go check and you can go apply. If you know people who have been stuck on that path of being genetic path cutters, and either they've been initiated or not initiated, please just share with them so that they can know. Because I see this, because I've seen it with my mother. My mother, and she literally 30 years later, she still is going round and round and still trying to figure out how she's meant to do her purpose, for 30 years. And it breaks my heart, because I know it's not just my mother. There's so many people who are so afraid. And that fear is a program. That fear was created on purpose to stop you from connecting with your soul and ancestral medicine, so that we are trapped as Black people in the same loops of suffering, one generation to the other, right? And someone just needs to be brave and courageous. We just need one person to be like, I will do this, so I hope you are that for your people. I understand your fear of the unknown, and I'm going to be helping you guys understand this in the next coming weeks. I actually will be announcing tomorrow a 5-day free program I am doing, and it's still about the ancestors, ancestry. It's gonna be exciting, and this time we're gonna do it a little different. I want to see your faces, so we will be doing this program. I'm gonna run it the way I run my programs, so check it out tomorrow. Register for it. If you can't do healing with the grandmothers, do this 5-day program that we'll be doing by end of this month, right? So I will be announcing, is it Thursday today? Yeah. Oh my God. I'll be announcing it either tomorrow or Monday. I will see if I finish, if I complete writing the landing page. But yes, I have this coming up for those who are like, Joy, I really would like to do it, but I really do not have the funding. I understand, okay? I understand, beloveds. This is why I'm trying to do these programs for free for you all. So check it out tomorrow or Monday. If I don't do it tomorrow, it's on Monday. And sign up for it, and we're going to be on Zoom with it. Of course, I will live stream it to the Facebook group. But I am literally committed to the healing of the Black DNA. Yeah. Okay. So that is it, my loves. Let me see if there's any questions. Do you have any questions? Let me know. Yes. Yes, beloved Tabitha. It really does change. Yes. I completely agree. My relationship with my parents has just done a 360. I'm always like, who are these people? They say things that I never thought they would say. They apologize now. Oh my God, my father apologized. I'm like, what is happening? But it's the healing. The healing works. people say I love you now, and I'm like, ooh, I love it, right? Yes. Okay, so please go check out Healing with the Grandmothers. Read all the details. If somehow one of the payment plans do not align for you, but you would like a different payment plan, please don't let that stop you. Just fill it in. We can have this conversation in the calls that I'm having with everyone who is enrolling, right? So we have a whole month to enroll because we're starting February 15. And so, yeah, take your time, right? Let this come from your soul. I want this to be like a yes in your soul. Your soul has to be like, you should go do it. That's how you check in, by the way, with what course you should do or what healing. Your soul has to approve. Your ancestors have to approve, right? So let it align for you. Okay. Thank you, beloveds. I hope this spoke to you. Let me know what you are taking as an aha. I will see you. Like I said, I'm posting tomorrow details for the 5-day program I'm doing. It's gonna be a super exciting one. I'm gonna teach, like I realize a lot of people don't really understand ancestors, so we're gonna go there, but we're also gonna do embodied healing. So I'm gonna literally treat it the way I treat any program that I usually do with my paid clients. Okay, so see that. Otherwise, next week Thursday I will see you here once again. Bye bye.